summer sun is shining over Sydney once again, and that means only one thing. The WCG is back for its 4th season, and it is its biggest season to date. Last season's Test Series was a pretty one-sided affair in truth. Nathan Hancock putting the final nail in the Mats 11 coffin to set up an opening Test win. The second Test match was highlighted by a century to captain Brendan Scott, with rain cutting this one short and sending us to a decider. Although Mats 11 started this Test match the brighter, they would ultimately go down to a 2-0 series loss, handing Brennan's 11 the trophy. But what's done is done. New teams for a new season here at the WCG. First day of the first Test match coming up on your home of backyard cricket, WCG TV. Welcome to the WCG for the opening day of Season 4. It's the first day of the first Test match between Brennan's 11 and newcomers Ries 11. Captains are in the middle and ready for the toss. Ries 11 to call, they call flats, and it is a heel. Brennan's 11 win the toss and elect to bat first. So the more things change, the more they stay the same. Brennan's 11 skipper wins his 5th consecutive toss and will bat first again on what looks a pretty good wicket. To his side now, and the big story coming out of the reshuffle in the off-season is that Matt White for the first time makes his way over and will play inner side alongside Brendan Scott. It's a straight swap with the Obasha brothers as Ravi captains the opposition. So Hamid Obasha joins Brennan's 11 for the first time since Season 1. Daniel Hancock, Mark Pasterfield and Alex Stepien also join White in crossing over to Brennan's 11, as Gavin Merrifield and Joshua Bolling retain their places. To Ravi's 11 now. They'll be captained by Rabi Obasha, his first foray as captain in a Test match at the WCG. He'll rely heavily on his 2IC Pat McGregor, who will likely be his main spearhead. George Paneros and Robert Leonard make the cross over to Ravi's 11. George Paneros coming off his best season yet at the WCG and will be looking for a repeat this time round. Michael Johnson takes his place in Ravi's 11, has finished first in the top 10 moments in the last 2 seasons. Rabi Obasha will be hoping he can produce a few more memorable moments this time round. Nathan Hancock also makes the switch to Rabi's 11, with Todd Lavin playing his first match at the WCG in over a year. And rounding out Rabi's 11 side, it's a full WCG debut to the talented Ryan Schaefer. Let's get it on. Rabi Obasha leads his troops into the middle. Has a lot of talent at his disposal. Big things are expected. Rabi Obasha making his way over to the opposition. Brendan Scott will shuffle up a position and open the batting for his side. His lean pickings either side of his 100 in the second Test last year. He'll be looking to get off to a positive start. So we're about to get underway for Season 4 at the WCG. It'll be a colossal battle over the next 2 and a bit months. It's important to note that the team that has won the first Test match has gone on to win the series every time. So the first ball of Season 4, will be the skipper Rob Obasha to bowl to his counterpart Brendan Scott. In now, it's a good length delivery, and Scott lets that go outside the off stump. A good start from Rob Obasha on the money straight away. Scott watchful. Obasha to continue to Scott in the opening over. In now, it's a wide delivery outside off stump. Scott lets it go again. This is a good start from Rob Obasha. He's bowling a decent clip here in the opening over. Regular go-to man for Brennan's 11 when he was in that side. He's looking to lead from the front this time round. Basher into Scott again. It's a good delivery outside the off stump, a good length delivery. And Scott leaves again. Another impressive delivery here from Rabi. It's tense cricket. George Pineros will bowl the second over of the innings. Score still none for none. In now to Scott. It's a full delivery. It's wrapped him on the shoe. There was a brief appeal from Rabi's 11. Scott was playing a shot and wouldn't be given out LB. This is a good disciplined start here for Rabi's 11. Pineros to bowl again to Scott. In now to full delivery, and it's wide outside the off stump, and it has been given a wide. So Brennan's 11 are off the mark for the Test series. Scott is yet to lay bat on ball. Pineros continues to Scott. It's a good delivery which rises on Scott, who leaves again. Yeah, look of surprise there towards Ryan Schaefer there at cover. Yeah, this looks a tremendous Test cricket wicket. As Pineros continues to Scott, and again he leaves. This is a cautious start here from Scott. 10 balls into his first knock of the summer, and he's yet to get off the mark and even lay bat on ball. Pineros continues again, and it's another good delivery, and it's another cautious leave there from Scott. This is a fantastic start to the Test series. Who will blink first? No wicket for two as Pat McGregor will bowl the third over of the innings. Into Scott, he gets an inside edge and narrowly misses the stumps. Well, that's a nervous stroke there from Scott. Pressure was building on Scott after the first two overs. He narrowly gets away with this one here.
So there's two catches on the onside, just in that zone there. He gets it through, so he's off the mark now, Watson. And he's off the mark with a boundary.
Scott's away for the series. As Pat will continue around the wicket to him now. It's a full delivery and it's a solid defensive stroke. Played to George Pineros there on the leg side for no run. That's the end of the third over. Brennan's 11 0 for 6. Michael Johnson who will bowl the fourth over of the innings. We'll see now bowls over the wicket to Scott. It's a full toss and it's played on the offside. And Scott gets another boundary. It's a gentle loosener there for Johnson. Scott's good enough to put it away. No wicket for 10 in the fourth over. Johnson will continue over the wicket, and that's a better reply. It's a good length delivery, and that's the area that Johnson wants to remain, I think. Just on that good length where Rabi's 11 have been for most of the morning. As Johnson's in again, it's another full toss, and it's another boundary for Brennan's 11. Johnson just releasing the pressure valve somewhat and undoing all the good work done before him. The final ball of Johnson's first over. In now to Scott. It's a better length delivery, and that's beaten Scott outside the off stump. That's a better delivery. It's a good way to finish the over for Johnson. Brennan's 11, no wicket for 14. That's Ryan Schaefer to bowl his first delivery at the WCG. And now it's a full toss played on the leg side. And it's fielded well there in the mid-wicket region by Todd Lavin. Bit of a nervous start there from Schaefer. As he comes in again to Scott. It's a full delivery. Oh, has that caught the edge? Is that the first wicket? The umpire says no. Well, it was a lunge forward there from Scott. Be interesting to see what this has hit on the replay. No, it's just the leg. No bat involved. That's better from Schaefer. That's the areas he needs to be. He was a continue over the wicket again to Scott. And Scott is forward and plays back to Schaefer down the pitch for no run. This looks an excellent batting wicket. Scott will want to be there for the long haul. Schaefer bowls again. It's popped up in the air. Was there an inside edge onto the pad? The umpire again says no. Schaefer is certainly causing Scott a few troubles at the moment. Bowling a straighter line to Scott than what the previous bowlers have. He's in again to Scott. It's a full delivery driven down the ground. And that's been fantastically fielded by Pat McGregor, who keeps the pressure on Scott. It's been a good over for Rabi's 11. No wicket for 15 as Nathan Hancock will bowl to his former skipper. It's a full delivery and it catches the edge and it just avoids the auto wiki. And Scott will scamper through for a single. That was there to hit for Scott. He wasn't able to put it away. He'd be disappointed with that. Brennan's 11, no wicket for 16 in the 6th over. As Nathan Hancock bowls over the wicket again to Scott. It's another full toss, and again Scott hasn't been able to put it away. And Nathan Hancock knows that's not the areas he wants to be, but he's got away with it twice so far in the over. Perhaps the last over from Schaefer just breaking Scott's concentration slightly. As Hancock will bowl again. It's another full toss, and this time it's been put to the boundary. Third time's a charm there for Brendan Scott. Some ordinary delivery again there from Nathan Hancock. Scott says thank you very much.
No, they've left it wide with all those gaps. Warner says thank you.
Not a great start there for Todd Lavin. So he continues around the wicket again to Scott. Scott is forward and plays that on the offside to Pat McGregor. Scott starting to look comfortable here. As Lavin bowls again around the wicket to Scott. It's another short delivery, and again it's punished and put to the boundary. Scott has moved along to 25. Runs 11, no wicket for 28. Rob Leonard to bowl the 8th over of the innings. In now to Scott. Scott's forward and it's in the air, and it's just landed to the right of the skipper Rabi Obasha, and that's the first genuine chance that Scott has given. It's a great start from Robert Leonard. It pops up, but it's just out of the reach of Obasha. Leonard will be looking to build on that great start. Here's his in again to Scott, and it's a wide delivery outside the off stump, which Scott leaves alone. He's left well again this morning. Hallmark of Scott's big scores is he tends to leave well. This could be a long day's cricket looming for Ravi's 11. As Leonard is in again, it's a half volley, and it's played towards Ryan Schaefer, who should have stopped that but hasn't. And it's another boundary for Brendan's 11. The alarm bells are starting to sound for Rabi's 11. No wicket for 33. With the skipper who will bowl his 2nd over of the innings into his opposition captain. It's a rising delivery, which Scott sways out of the way of. Desperate need of a wicket here, Rabi's 11. This is just starting to get away from him. Scott is starting to look very comfortable at the crease indeed. Rabi in again to Scott. Over the wicket, it's another full toss, but it's been brilliantly fielded by Ryan Schaefer. But Nathan Hancock has helped that into the boundary. It is not going right at the moment for Rabi's 11. Scott has moved along to 34. No wicket for 37 as George Paneros will bowl to Scott. It's a full delivery on leg side, and it's played uppishly, and it's been dropped by Todd Lavin. And to add insult to injury, it has also gone for 6. A let off there for Scott. 43 without loss as George Paneros will bowl over the wicket again. It's a good length delivery, and that's a tight leave there from Scott. That's a good reply from George. He'd still be feeling a bit of grief that he hasn't got his wicket. Not too far away from the lunch break now. As Paneros will bowl again to Scott. It's hit uppishly, and it's gone for 6. Scott didn't appear to be in control of that one as well, but he'll take the runs, and it's just going his way at the moment. This is the start they were looking for. This may well be the last over before the lunch break. With Pat McGregor to bowl to Scott around the wicket, and it's left outside the off stump. Yeah, the angle going across Scott. That's a pretty easy leave. Can Rabi's 11 take one with them into the lunch break? It'll be a big wicket. Here is Pat will continue around the wicket to Scott, and that's a tighter leave. Scott certainly knows where his off stump is. The angle across him does help. But we want to bowl a bit straighter to Scott just before the lunch break. So this will be the final ball before lunch. With Pat McGregor to go around the wicket to Scott. It's a full delivery, and it's just played into the ground. And that ends a dream session for Brendan's 11. So Brendan's 11's title defence has got off to the perfect start. They go into the lunch break, no wicket for 50, and they're laying a perfect foundation on a great batting wicket for a big first innings score. Rabi's 11 have some thinking to do at the break. We'll be back shortly.